people.
What up?
Hey.
Happy 21st episode. Tonight, we're going to be talking with Wes O'Leary from Outside Ales over in Grand Haven, Michigan.
Yeah. Your audio sounds a little weird, Brian. Check that out.
I'm going to say it sounded a little quiet.
A little very quiet.
All right. Let me play with that.
You're fine now.
That's better. Yeah. Eat the mic.
All right. I moved it closer. You guys can just hear me slurp all night, I guess.
That's fine.
That's what I enjoy.
Well, let's get Wes in here and I guess figure out what we're all drinking tonight.
Yeah, since we coordinated. Look at us. Wes.
Hey,
welcome to the show.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Dude, dope intro. I was doing it. I don't know if you can see me with backstage, but
that open source electro whatever the hell it's called.
Some sort
I've been to a lot of shows like that. That's a good and a bad thing.
Yeah, so we did. We Jordan paid $5 to make us an intro, and it came with a lot of just cheesy stock footage shit and that cool beat, and then the logo zooming in, and so we cut all that other stupid shit off, and we've got a friend of ours that's gonna help us do some real, some nice stuff, probably some better music. But it's
like
a good
voiceover intro, like now introducing.
Oh yeah, we totally talked about that.
Yeah,
it would be a thing.
something cooler. Oh, so we're all drinking Oddside beer. We got Oddside on tonight.
Wes, what do you got?
Starting off with an OG.
Hey.
I guess, yeah.
That wasn't planned at all.
No. So, Bean Flicker was probably the very first coffee blonde that I ever had, and I'm sure people were brewing it before Oddside did, but I don't think anywhere around here really that I can think of, on a regular basis. Certainly not a whole lot of packaged stuff. I freaking love this beer. It's what got me into brewing like coffee blondes.
Yeah.
There's a time probably 2-3 years ago where I was making like 3-4 a year for myself.
Yeah, I remember that.
Nice. Yeah, it's super fun. I love a sessionable coffee beer. Like I love coffee. Who doesn't really? Right. But it's not in like a big, heavy, dark stout. It's just kind of a little bit more pleasurable as far as like the sessionability that, it's a nice, like my first beer or two in, get a little caffeine going.
And it's not like too sweet or anything. Like it's like you said, sessionable. Like you want to just keep drinking it. I always measure a beer like by drinkability. Like when I set it down, am I thirsty again? Do I just want to pick it right back up? And it's definitely one of those beers that like it's gonna be gone in like 10 minutes. It'll lead us to we have 6 beers to get through tonight, so
yeah.
Yeah, that's our challenge. That's the 6
it's
beers
not a requirement,
and then fucking show's over right there.
Right? I might not even remember the second football game.
Right. So what tell us about you. What do you do for Outsides?
I'm their head of sales. Pretty much anything. I am the sales department at the current moment. So everything and anything that do is sales. I do a little bit of behind the scenes stuff with just helping out with labels and the approval process, UPCs, and everything having to do with that. A little bit of the marketing and social media and such. So just kind of trying to be there for the company and do everything I can within my capacity.
Is that a lot of like traveling then? Like, are you just driving everywhere? Or?
Typically, yes. Pre-COVID, I was always on the road. I'd have, everything from an overnight to a whole weekend, or, I've gone as far as 10. Well, I went 22 days on the road last October.
Oh, wow.
Which was fun, but I have a family too, so it was kind of like I absorbed the territory and we had a bunch of stuff booked on top of my stuff that was already booked. So that was I was literally gone for like almost an entire month. But I ended in Houston for the World Series, which the Astros were in. I think it was the conference. But either way, it was a good time, man.
Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is it just within the state, or you're kind of all over the U.S. then, or where does outside like distribute to?
Sure, yeah, we're in 9 states now.
Okay.
Basically Midwest strong. If you want to throw Pennsylvania, and I don't know if they're in the Midwest. I don't think so. But yeah, so we're Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Texas. I think that's 9. I didn't count along the
I
way.
didn't either. Yeah. Oh,
I've gotten pretty good at it though. But yeah, so I mean, some states require more attention. We're just trying to kind of get our feet under us. We've had a lot of organizational, structural changes to make and kind of tidy up to really like present ourselves as a bigger brewery than we are, so we can kind of continue that growth.
Is
so this year's a blessing and a curse with COVID.
is canning part of that? Like I've noticed in the last couple of years, I've seen like a ton more cans come out from outside, so like bottles and stuff like that. I don't know. Where
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's a better vessel. It holds better. Although the classics purists will tell you otherwise. But I mean, I think that we can pretty much put everything in a can at this point. I don't think anything's off limits. As long as it doesn't, like, we can't put a sour from our sour program in a can because it would be cross-contamination, but we can put just about everything else in a can, including barrel-aged stouts, which I'm sure you saw some of.
Right. Well, you gave us a Hazel's Nuts in the can. You know?
Yeah. Is this the first year it's been in a can? Like I got a few bottles sitting downstairs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first year. So typically before this year, I don't quote me on this. Let me think about it, but I'm pretty sure we've never done a barrel-aged stout in a can.
Okay.
We've done a can used to be like our barrel-aged tequila barrel-aged, like Lost Shaker Assault, or Derby Days was kind of like a mint and julep cocktail mock, but it was always something that was like an ale or something lighter in body.
So, and I know we're jumping past. We'll get back to actually odd sides and their history a little bit, but switching to this can format this year, and then COVID hits, and all of a sudden all the cans are gone. Did that screw you guys around at all, or?
Yeah, the can shortage had kind of snuck up on everybody. Like it had been talked about, and there was a lot of things going around the industry, not just in the beer industry, but just in general, like the can industry between Coke, Pepsi, seltzers, and not non-alcoholic seltzers. Just the explosion of really a shift to off-premise retail. So, I mean, COVID expedited everything to the left. You know, it was all, you could go to the bar, you could get growlers and all this other stuff, but when you're shifting to retail and everybody's just they see the writing on the wall. Coke's buying, you know, 1 billion cans in a drop of a check, and so is everybody. I mean, ABs, everyone's soaking up the cans, especially with the seltzer explosion. So the aluminum in general was just in short. We had to shift pretty quick. I mean, we didn't really experience it until a couple months ago. So we were pretty lucky, being that we had a nice little, our allocation of cans for the year was, you know, a lot higher than, I mean, 85% of Michigan breweries, being that we're a top 15 brewery in volume. So, and especially with the shift to cans, our demand went up for cans, our volume went up this year, and all at the same time without the cans. So we were calling different breweries. I'm looking for bright cans. Hey, how many pallets do you have? Will you sell us any? Most of them said, you know what? Like, get lost. Right. I love you, Wes, but no, you can't have any.
What's a bright can?
A bright can would be just like a blank silver can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As opposed to like,
heat wrapped or.
Got it. Okay.
I mean, there's a bunch of different things you can do to a can, but yeah, a bright can, it would be. Well, I don't think I do have one in my little bowl. So it'd be like this label. Well, my light isn't great on the can.
That's fine.
This is just a label over
Got it.
this silver can. So any of those.
Whereas this has like the whole like wrap on it.
So this is a printed can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all printed, and what we're
Right.
going to shift to, if you look at any of the other cans other than Citra in your little batch, you'll see that there's a little label right over that printed can. So if you were to take off like the label on either of the Dink Juice cans, that's a Mayan Mocha can under there. So this is kind of like a pretty unique thing that a lot of breweries do, more or less to, when you run into a thing like this where we get Citra, Bean, Dank Juice, Mayan all the time. It's just a stock file. They just print them. But even in the can shortage, I mean, we're not getting them like we should. So
Yeah.
we're just trying to stay nimble.
Oh, that's cool.
I actually remember, and if he's watching, I'll laugh at this. But I was tailgating at a football game with a mutual friend of ours that introduced us, and we were drinking Odd Sides beer, and we started peeling the labels off because there was this post next to us that was covered in stickers, and we just started peeling Odd Side labels off and sticking them to this post. Advertising for you. It wasn't graffiti at all. And yeah, laugh. I think I noticed that. Like, we peeled it off, and there was actually I think something else underneath it, but. That was pretty interesting.
I feel like you sent us a picture of that. I don't think it was like online. That sparks a memory. And I don't know why.
It is not littering, John.
Oh, there
You started it. So, right on. So we skipped right by Odd Sides, and I don't know if you want to give us the history or the background on Odd Sides and
where's the name come from, first of all? Maybe if you even know. I mean, it is probably some of the odder beer that's
your imagination.
Yeah.
Our pub manager likes to mess with people. He goes, "Well, we're at 41 Washington," and they're like, "Yeah," and he's like, "We're on the odd side of the street," and they're like, "That is not why you named your brewery that." Like, no, maybe it is. But yeah, I mean, we make really unique beer. It's the odd side of the hop, of the malt, of the water. I mean, we're just trying to do things in a different way, be our own brewery, not follow the traditional measures, although we do traditional beer really well too. So we've kind of come to that point. But yeah, outside as a whole, history-wise, 2 friends, roommates at Michigan State, graduated. They were brewing on college or at MSU. And about 2010, they decided, hey, let's start a brewery. Hopped into Grand Haven. I believe they're both from Holland. So it wasn't, just a hop, skip, and a jump a little bit north. Well, we had a spot in an old piano factory. I assume you 3 have been?
Not yet.
Oh.
No.
I have not.
Neither of you have.
Grand Haven's so far away, man.
We're gonna have to.
We're coming.
We are. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
My girlfriend has. I think she got a flight there, and it's just like this giant circular flight. Maybe am I thinking of a wrong brewery? It might have been a different brewery.
Yeah, we're just
Brian.
we use like our barrel staves, and it's usually a 5-glass flight. Nothing crazy.
Okay.
But yeah, either way, we landed in our old piano factory. I mean, it was a small bar to start off, but they were making a lot of great, unique offerings, and we had a really good small batch program that was kind of pumping out stuff left and right.
I got called out.
Yeah.
And we kind of organically grew from there. I mean, we are known for a lot of different things, and like pineapple IPA and Mayan Mocha Stout and Citra Pale Ale. And there was just a lot of those OG recipes that really got us going. Grand River Nut Brown, Realignment, Herbie Pepper Hop. They were just unique offerings. So it kind of grew from there. And ever since then, pretty much every 18 to 24 months, there's been an expansion either at the production facility or the pub.
Seriously. Dang.
It's been pretty crazy. Like, I wish you could have seen it from the beginning, before I was even employed there, I was stopping in 2011, 2012, getting myself a flight, and just think it was the coolest little spot ever. And here we are now with like I'm going to torch the square footage, but it's about, I want to say it's 8,000 square feet pub. Could be off on that.
Wow.
I know we touched on it. I think you asked if we had been there. I have. I was having some technical difficulties while that question was coming out. I got a monitor that looks like tough. Yeah, but yeah, I have been there. When I was last there, you guys were real small. It was awesome. I haven't been up there since your expansion, but I do plan on it.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to keep the same kind of feel too, being that it is in the old piano factory. You know, it's very industrial looking, open ceilings. You can see the vents, and it has really nice, beautiful lighting in there that's really like kind of classical. The backdrop of the bar is all kind of that subway white tile. So it's like a really cool clash of styles. I mean, they did it amazing. We tried to keep a lot of that from what was original at the pub, but just kind of slowly class it up a little bit more with the size that it became. I think we're up to 60 taps.
I was just gonna ask. Holy
Either
shit!
50 or 60. It's been I think it's 50 actually, and I would say a few of them are coffee, cold brew. Obviously, you've got a handful of seltzers at any given time. We've got wine on tap. We've got our distiller's license, so we've got cocktails on tap, a bunch of nitro options, and then obviously there's like at any given time 30 to 35, 40 beers if it's a big release or something.
Do you have like a smaller brew system there for like just making like batches to like fill up taps, or like?
So we've never really. That's a great question actually, because we just purchased a pilot system that we actually use. I think it's a 1-barrel system at the pub that we really never use. They've been using it for like cold brew and mixing the cocktails for kegging. Yep. And that's like it. They've done some of the bottling of the whiskey there as well. We can only store it at the pub actually. So it's really small, the space. We didn't leave ourselves with much to do, but the original system is viewable in this little like rentable party room, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we just bought a 3-barrel system, complete, beginning to end, the fermenters and kettle and everything. So we're going to start really hammering out some R&D beers and start getting ahead of the trends again.
Oh, that'd be sweet. How big is your main system?
It's a 15-barrel. So, you got to brew in twice to get into a 30, and we got 60s now. So you got to brew in 4 times. So
you're doing, and you're brewing so many different.
I know that's like
all on the 15.
You guys run 24/7.
We do have 3 shifts. We're brewing 5 days a week. So actually, we might not even be brewing very much on Friday. I think we just started off. But either way, we're 4 full days of brewing and definitely 5 days of packaging.
Wow, that's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, we're actually going under a pretty big expansion right now. We're adding 9 60-barrel fermenters, so adding about 15,000 barrels of brewing capacity.
Wow. Still on the 15-gallon or on the 15-barrel system, so 4 batches to fill that, or?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Although the 60 barrels will predominantly be seltzers.
Oh, okay. Is that doing really well for you guys right now?
Oh, yes, my friend. Yes.
I hear that I heard somebody put a bug in my ear that you had something to do with that too.
Like me personally?
I don't know. You had hard suggestions.
I push. That's what a sales guy does. Like, you can't keep my mouth shut.
So I just cracked into a seltzer, a tangerine, and I had to crack, and it is in a Dank Juice can. That cracks me up. So yeah. I think that's what I heard, that you were kind of pushing on the seltzer stuff or helping steer that program, maybe. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So sometime last year, we started messing around with it. I don't think it was my idea to do seltzers with our brewery. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure our owner brought it up a long time ago, and he just asked our guys, like, what do we need to do in order to make it, first of all? And how expensive is it? You know, let's do some estimates. So kind of looked into it, and it kind of fell by the wayside. Is that where you're going with next, the tangerine?
That's what I did. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So I was peeling labels.
Yet.
So, well, I'm going to
Jordan.
sidebar. This plan today,
Which one's that? Is that a cucumber?
cucumber lime.
Oh, that
Oh,
looks
that
good.
sounds awesome.
That does
All
sound awesome. All right.
Anyway, so it kind of went by the wayside. We, kind of picked it back up last year, mid-year. We started messing around with it. Made a 7% version. And we're like, oh, all of our guys are beer guys, man. We were not drinking seltzers. It was a force. I think that was the hardest obstacle, was making everybody inside the brewery accept, or at least like not want to leave because we're making seltzers. They're like, don't sell it. So we wanted to do it our way. So we kind of started off. It went 7%. It was doing decent. It was draft only. There was no cans of it. We really were just literally feeling out the market with our product. And some other Michigan breweries had already either put some out, or we were kind of in the mix of kind of rush to market with everybody. And once the 2 years ago showed that obviously it's not going anywhere, it's going straight up. Everyone wanted to take a crack at it, but it's just like a hazy IPA, a New England IPA. It's going to show it's easier said than done. Let's just put it that way. You can really make a hazy IPA green, but the thing about a seltzer is there's nothing to hide it. If it has flaws, it is trash. I'm being honest.
Are all of yours clear?
Yeah.
Clear?
We use filters. So the carbon filters help. And we are using, flavoring instead of natural fruit.
Yep.
To keep the sugar down was the main goal. It wasn't about the color. We really actually wanted to do real fruit and be unique like that. But the price, there's no way you can grow in a massive way with real fruit at that price point, at that sugar content. It was just unrealistic in our eyes. We wanted to stay as competitive as possible. So we kind of kept playing with it. 7%, it's pretty boozy at 7%. I don't know if you ever tried it. It's just like I said, you can't hide the booze. So that's why everyone's sitting around 5. That's 7. But as a beer drinker, it kind of tasted like liquor too. So we're like, oh, well, that's pretty good. Yeah. So then we are, we're doing like 20 cases of samples, and the guys are taking some home, and we're kind of starting to love it. And we're tweaking the recipe the whole way. Every batch was different. Every batch was better. And we got to a certain point, and we said, okay, it's time to put this in a can. We've got artwork that we've been kind of working on. We went through like 4 name changes, and ultimately we chose to stick with our brand, stick Odd Side Seltzers. Don't name it something else. Don't start a new brand. Don't slip off the slope of people not knowing who you are. Right. Let's grab our everyone that's a fan already, keep them with us, and then let's try and find a whole new market. And it's worked really well. So we brought it down to 5% actually, and that's what you're drinking now. 110 calories, naturally gluten-free, 0 carbs, 0 sugar. It hits all the marks. And it's really freaking good. We're not doing, granted, I gave you guys tangerine and I showed you cucumber lime, but like our main 6 that we're rolling with next year are all the cocktail inspired, or the pink lemonade, that nostalgia flavor, fruit punch, fuzzy navel, pina colada, pog, lemon elderflower. Those things all hit huge home runs, and they're super unique. No one's doing them like that.
Yeah.
And we've sold a lot of stuff. Yeah. Passion fruit, orange, guava.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense now. I went to the little milk caps from my childhood. I was like,
no, pog, like pog juice out of Hawaii.
Yeah, got it. Okay. All right. That's my ignorance.
No, that's not ignorance. I had pogs as well.
I'm
an uninformed heathen. I don't know what pog juice is, so
yeah.
I mean, I would be lying if I told you I knew it the first time I heard it. But once I heard it or I like looked at it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, maybe.
I feel like I've heard it a lot more in the last year.
It's a great beer
in
combo.
the brewing circles. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of guava, so I always kind of blow it off. But there's somebody else in the club, actually in our club, we're all in the same homebrew club, and there's somebody else, Brian, I know, and if Dave is listening, if it was him or somebody was like bringing it up, pog, I can't remember.
I don't know.
But I've had the pink lemonade. That was fantastic. I went, and it's funny, I was at a Mega Bev buying the seltzers, and I forget which one we grabbed that night. I don't know if that was pink lemonade or if I had a different one. No, I had the fuzzy navel fuzzy navel, and I tried pink lemonade at a party, and the clerk told me that the fruit punch was the best thing he ever drank. And I was like, wow, you know what I mean? And this guy, like my wife and I are sitting there just trying to check out, and this guy's going on and on about odd size fruit punch seltzer. I'm like, damn. And so I haven't had any of the fruit punch yet. I need to find some.
They'll be back out in December.
December? Awesome.
Logs, November. We got lemon, elderflower, mango, black cherry, cucumber, lime this month.
Man, that lemon elderflower sounds awesome too.
It does. Yeah. I don't even know what that's going to taste like, but I want it.
Definitely, I don't know. It's obviously top 6 for me, but it might be top 3. It's pretty freaking refreshing. People get scared of the elderflower, but it's just basically like sweet floral with lemon.
Yeah.
You know, it's very very hidden by the lemon. It's super clean.
Yeah, no, that sounds cool.
And you would think like brewing seltzer isn't like there's not a lot to it, like, you know, sugar, yeast, nutrients, and filter it and whatever. But we did a seltzer episode not too long ago, and we got just a ton of different ones, and there's such a
variety,
an array, of like good and bad, and these are definitely like top.
That's actually how we got connected. I think the day before the seltzer show, I told, you know, John Sutton that I'm going to do a seltzer show, and he's like, dude, you need to talk to Wes from Outside Ales. And I'm like, well, son of a bitch, check it out. And we couldn't connect then. That was a month ago, but we're here now. So do you know what fermentable you guys are using? Are you using corn sugar, beet sugar?
We're using dextrose.
Just dextrose or just corn sugar? Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Just corn sugar. It's pretty, I mean, we use a wine yeast, a style of wine yeast, which I think really, I'm sure you can guess which one. But it really creates the body of it and makes it super clean. Yeah. Obviously, you have to add nutrients. We've been all over the board lately. Actually, we had some issues with it fermenting out in a specific timetable. So we've actually had to play with the nutrients, and I'll be the first one to say I'm not a brewer. I'm a sales guy, but I ask a lot of questions. So anytime, I think I told Jason this, anytime you stump me with a question, I might say I don't know, but I'll also go back and ask our brewers and follow up with you. That's one of my favorite things is just learning from those guys. But yeah, they've been adding different nutrients and proteins and such for that yeast to eat and ferment out in a suitable time, which is preferably in about 7 days.
Yeah. I mean, when we're all home brewers, I think we know if you just give yeast corn sugar, it really doesn't have enough to go on, and it doesn't really do what it's supposed to do. So you gotta feed it. But yeah, you guys are putting out some killer shit there. And what was it? John said something about the cans.
Oh yeah, the standard cans. Yeah.
Yeah, standard cans. Everybody else is doing the sleek cans.
John was actually in those talks at the time. It? Yeah, he used to be part of our distributor that we are partners with, and there was a lot of back and forth about using slim cans or fat cans, and honestly, it just came down to our canning line. I mean, we were trying to be as efficient as possible. We already run pretty lean as far as our staffing and how we run shifts. So it was all about protecting the bottom line and the price point and making sure that we were right there, priced the exact same as White Claw. So that was our goal, at least. So the standard cans won out, and shoot, I mean, they're proving that it didn't matter. I mean, it might not have the same volume, but they're getting their noise.
when John was in that other life, I know I've had the conversation with him about canning and size and price point and so many times. And I notice here that all of your cans are 12-ounce cans. I don't see any tall boys here. I don't think I've seen any tall boys. Is that a decision, like you guys aren't doing the tall boy can footprint?
Kind of the same answer as the slim cans. It's all about, I mean, basically we would have to change out an entire part on our canning line to shift either of those. And we're already having kind of spacing issues. Like we've had to respace our whole warehouse. It's a 44,000 square foot warehouse that we basically move around every 6 to 8 months, other than the canning line and the, what we need to brew. But there's 3 other rooms where we constantly are moving stuff around just to make space. Because now with the can shortage, we're like loading up.
Yeah.
I mean, we've probably got, a couple 100,000 cases worth of cans that we never had before. So
right,
it's been interesting to adjust. But yeah, to answer your question, the pint cans, I would really love them. It would really help in like venues, whether it be concerts or sports venues. I mean, we're in 9 states. They all have major market football teams and hockey teams, and we could really do some damage with, a seltzer and a 16-ounce, a beam flicker, or Citra, Spear Me. I mean, any of those.
I see where they have their place. And I agree. Like I actually, if I'm going to go for a regular beer or even a seltzer, I could see a 16-ounce. My biggest thing and my pet peeve is all these breweries that do these big ass stouts and bombers. And I always say, I never want to open a bomber by myself. It's too much. I don't want to drink a 14% imperial stout, bomber by myself. And I've always appreciated the odd sides have always done their stuff in 12s. At least I don't think I've ever seen an odd side bomber. I don't know.
I've seen a few 750s.
Have you?
Yeah, we have bombers, but none that hit the market. They're all pub only.
Okay.
Our sours are in whatever they're called. I haven't used a sour bottle. 375 milliliters.
375s. Yeah, usually.
I don't think we bottled a sour in like 2 years. I like completely almost went out of my mind right there.
Huh.
But
is there a reason for that?
Yeah. Yes, there is. It's this little series brand called Fruitsicles. That little bastard.
Oh.
Fruitsicles took off a couple of years ago. We were using sour out of wood aged sours for that as the base. That was like what was blended into the fruit ale, basically. And that drained our entire room. And then we were like, oh shit, this is gonna take a long time to refill. And we're talking like, it's like an 8,000 square foot room. It was stacked to the ceiling. It was huge. And we put out a sour every 2 months. But yeah, now I think we've got like 30 barrels in our sour room. Like it's slow Fruitsicles. We ended up shipping it to a Kettle Sour to obviously be able to continue our sour program. And actually, we recently even shifted to a pitch, a sour pitch.
Like a Lachancia, like a Philly sour?
Something like that, yeah. I'm not super familiar, but it's basically the same concept, just that it's done right. And actually, Tangy Dank is the same way.
Oh, yeah, that's super cool.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. And it provided actually, I would say, better results as far as the pureness of the sour and the cleanness of it, which we'll get into whenever you're ready.
I'm excited actually to try Tangy Dank.
Yeah, now I want to try that. I'm gonna kill my.
I did go through a lot of the Fruitsicles when they came out, and I actually think I still got some in the fridge downstairs. I'm bad about that. I'll buy so much beer, and then I keep 2 or 3 of them, even ones I shouldn't keep.
Right.
But
if they're fairly recent, they're pasteurized, so they'll hold up a long time.
Yeah, and I keep them refrigerated. It's just like my wife and I were at Mega Bev, I don't know, months ago when you, and I'm gonna get this wrong, but didn't you have like a tequila line or a margarita line? There were like 4 different varieties.
Yeah, the Lost Shaker of Salt.
The Lost Shaker of Salt. So I bought one of each of those. We got excited. We're going to go home and try those. Put them in the fridge. Shit came up. Life happened. They're still in the fridge.
Those have aged well, by the way. I've bought them from the store in recent months, even though they shouldn't be on the store shelf. That tends to happen sometimes when you release 150 beers in a year.
No, I think I have. I don't know how many different varieties you made, but I have 4 different Lost Shakers in the. Pretty sure I have 4.
I think we made 4, maybe 5 total.
I've got them down there. If I didn't have 6 that you gave me, I would have gone there for tonight. But
nice.
I would have just came to
That
your
one will
house
knock
for
you
sure.
on your ass. That's for sure.
How strong are those?
I think it's 11 or 12, 11 and a half. I want to say.
Yeah,
It's nothing.
But I mean, after these 6, if you
no.
Right. Yeah.
like, hey,
We sometimes have an after show. Yeah.
So last week we had Nikki D from the Michigan Beer Cup on. It was a great show. We sat here and I think drank like 6 or 7 homebrews with her.
nice.
And then after the show, we ended the show, and then for some reason Jordan and Nikki and I hung out and just chatted for like another hour.
I was on for that too. I left before you
did-
guys.
yeah.
You were on before.
We were on a long time, and then somehow decided it was a good idea to work through a 4-pack of Hot Butcher double IPAs in the after show, and then I made it to bed. I'm sure, but it was I can't do that anymore. I can't even. I shouldn't even do these 6. Right.
It's kind of like a mini power hour. Finish them,
Yeah. Right.
before 8:30.
I do want to go into the tangy dank juice though.
Yep. I got that.
Right on. And you said this.
So is this your first sour IPA that you guys have done, or?
Well, we've done things like this before. Let's start with that. That was probably maybe 18 months ago. It was a while ago, and I've always wanted it back. I've loved this beer, and of course, it just like wasn't in the cards. I don't know. We were kind of rebranding the whole dank juice, which I'm sure as you look at the can, it's that super sexy, clean looking, and it's either black or white. So you've got both tangy and double are that black.
Yep.
But yeah, I love the hop background and everything. So in the midst of rebranding it all, we were kind of just trying to rebrand one at a time.
Cheers.
Cheers. But yeah, either way, we've done a few others that were test batches. A couple, one with pomegranate and one with apricot. That was just called Kettle Sour IPA with pomegranate with apricot. We also did one more R&D beer. The name is evading me. That clearly was not worth mentioning.
Were those distributed?
No, well, only in kegs. So it's kind of usually what we would do is make our R&D program before this. The smallest batch we could do is 7 barrels. So we'd have, 14 half barrels to move. We're like, okay, I guess the pub takes 7 and we try and move 7 in the market. Whatever happens, happens. So now that we got the 3 barrel, we'll definitely be doing a 3 barrel to the pub, 7, to draft only if on premise ever comes back. And then 15, 30, 60, depending on how crazy the feedback is in package.
Was that kind of your job? Like, hey, we have 7 like half barrels or barrels or whatever of like this random beer that we made. Like, does your bar want this? Like, can we put this on tap?
Yeah, it was really easy to lean on your top. Like, I would lean on like my top 50 accounts. You know what I mean? The club at the time, the Clubhouse BFDs, the Ale Marys, the Brown Irons on the east side. On the west side, you're looking at Kalamazoo Beer Exchange, Shakespeare's, and all the Hopcats, and I mean, I could name a million other ones, but my top 50, it was just like, hey, you're taking this week, or he's going to take it next, this week. So
Yeah.
Right.
7. First come, first serve. Give me. But yeah, it was really fun. Like, man, this is a different role for me. I've only been in this role since that October trip I told you about last year. So before that, I was just regional sales manager, covered like half the territory, about 4.5 states, and I for a time period I was on the east side covering east side of Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, and on the east side, like when you're the east side sales rep, you never go to the brewery. You go there once a month,
Right.
and they're just like, "Hey, we made 10 new beers. Here you go." I'm like, "Yeah, but I've never tried them. How am I going to try them?" Like, they're like, "No, it's just
go sell it.
It tastes like an IPA with fruit in it." And I'm like, "God damn it! What are you doing, guys?"
And it's outside. It's not like, I mean, I feel like they're making like 10 new beers a month almost. At
Oh
times,
man,
so.
in the prime, it was hectic. It was
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, that's why I love our brand and why I joined our brand. But as a sales rep, like once I was repping the brand, after a couple of years, I was like, my brain was burnt, man. You can see me like trying to remember some R&D beer. I'm like, God, I haven't thought about this in like 2.5 years. I tried to bury it.
I really dig this though, man. It's not too tart. Hops balanced. Smells good.
Yeah, sour and bitter don't go together always, and this is
I'd say that
not.
from,
Yeah.
From
I think the
light
tangy.
beer, Brian, that looks like, I wish I had a glass, but it looks like it's quite yellow like that.
Yeah.
I would say it's good that you label it tangy. It's not sour. It is just it's light.
Honestly, that's the word. We drank it.
Yep.
2 years ago all together, and we're like, oh, we gotta name this beer. We can't call it tart dank juice. We can't call it tart and juicy. That's epic.
Yeah.
We're like, but that's what it is. It's tart and juicy.
Yeah.
Damn it, epic.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. That's a fantastic beer. But that was, we went out there, took a tour with them years ago at GABF, and ever since then, I was like, I want a tart IPA, and I want it juicy, and that's what I want. And that was always kind of where it started for me. That I always loved that beer for years before that. But yeah, it's the best of both worlds. That's just what we're like. It's kind of like Tang, but with hot.
Yeah, I totally get that now that you say just Tang.
Really like that tart orange juice kind of feel, and then it has like that juicy resinous backbone to it.
Yeah, it really definitely complements the citrusy, fruity juiciness of that. The very tangy. It's good.
Yeah, with that yeast change, I definitely think that toned down how sharp the tartness was. This is more of like a clean, kind of mellows right into the back.
Yeah.
Back end of it.
No, this is tasty. Yeah, Drew's saying you got to get some. But this is the one that was getting released this week, right?
Yeah, just came out. We just sent a little over 1,000 cases, which is about typical for like a new rebrand or re-release.
Nice.
But yeah, you should start. You should definitely. I'm sure Megabev already has some. If not, they will in the coming days.
I know it was hard. We picked these beers up. I picked these beers up from you last week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, felt like it. And I dropped it right off to Brian. I'm like, you got to save them for the show. Like,
I saw a few of them when Brian dropped
and it was that one.
Really?
I can't say.
Yeah, 10, 12.
7. Oh, the date.
Guys,
10,
it's
10,
probably
12.
too old to drink.
Yeah.
Honestly.
7 days
Age
old.
old.
I remember that shit. Bringing back Hetty Topper from Vermont and somebody being like, "Oh, it's a week and a half old, man." Like, it's shit. Fuck you.
The hots are falling off.
Yeah. Oh man. So I want to get back to, we missed a question from Brandon since we were talking about the mixes. Do you guys have a gin and tonic style planned for the seltzers?
I would say that honestly, this Cucumber Lime is probably as close as it's going to get to that. So the way that we make seltzer, that Moscow Mule, did I say that, or did
You guys have a Moscow Mule?
He mentions it in this comment, but we kind of teased it. We've teased it, but it's not out. It's not out. It hasn't been produced. It comes out next month in like 3 or 4 weeks. It'll come
I was going to say, I think you mentioned it. Brandon's usually pretty damn sharp.
This knows.
Well, and he's the one that says he's been to your place a bunch. So
yeah, I checked out the
here.
website.
I checked out the website. Yeah,
nice. But yeah. So the way we just real quick rundown. A seltzer, we usually sample, I would say, 30 or 20 to 30 flavors just to get one. Like the flavorings are so wildly erratic. Like it says cotton candy, and it's like, what the hell is this? It tastes like blue carousel, or you know what I mean? It'd be like, this is not right. Throw this one out. So there's like literally like a whole table full of samples, and it's like, all right, guys, we got to find another one.
Such a challenge.
And you have to dose just like regular like hard seltzer, right? Otherwise, how do you know what the flavor is going to be like, right? Yeah.
We pull a pure keg from the bright tank before we can or something once a month or something, and we just kind of dose, scientifically measure and dose them and kind of go from there, up, down, left, right. Screw this one. Okay, this one's got a chance. Let's redo it next week. So. The point of the matter was the gin. We haven't found a gin one that's been like any bit decent. But what I suggest is you get the cucumber lime and just add a shot of gin.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, perfect.
I've been making cocktails all summer with seltzers, man. I've been hitting home runs left and right. Rum, bourbon, tequila, vodka, gin.
You're giving me
So
ideas.
on that, I think that's a good segue. So Sut texted me and he asked if we had talked about your spirits because he thought that you were adding a distillery when the plague hit.
Yes, we had just got our distiller's license. I'm gonna dip into my closet right next to me.
Oh, cool. By all means.
I thought he mentioned something about his pilot system, like bottling whiskey off of it earlier.
Yeah.
Oh,
maple rye.
Yeah.
Is that actually for sale? Is that just like
it was?
Oh, okay.
So I think we only did. I don't know if we marked them actually. I don't think so. I think we only did we did one barrel worth. So I'd have to do the numbers, but it was like 150 bottles, something like that. It was $50 a pop. It was our very first one. So as I mentioned before, the pilot system, we can only store, I think it's 3 barrels at our pub. So we can basically make nothing. I mean, that's
sure.
Every 4 months we can release one if we were like turning and burning. But we actually have a peanut whiskey in there right now. I think they were trying to kind of figure out how to bottle it because it's a tough one. It's oily.
Yeah.
And they didn't want it to separate, so I don't know if they scrapped it or if they're retrying. But it's all sourced. We don't distill quite yet. We got to figure out the spacing and stuff like that, but it's all sourced from Journeyman.
I was just going to ask that because, I mean, so you got a maple rye. You didn't start that in April. I mean,
Sure.
That's got to at least be a couple years old, right? I mean.
Yeah, the whiskey itself is, and we aged it in maple syrup barrels.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Cool.
Our maple syrup barrels. So we've barrel aged some maple syrup. So that's actually rye whiskey in maple syrup barrels that we already aged our maple syrup in our barrel, or you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
All kinds of crazyception shit. But that's cool. So you're working with Journeyman to get the base spirit?
Yep. All of our cocktails also on tap at the pub are all Journeyman spirits. So we've had a really great relationship with them. And, it's always a good little trip for the guys to take the van and head down to Journeyman and buy the alcohol.
Right.
I'm like, they get back, and then it's like, let's go to tip a few for a few more.
That's awesome.
I'm like, you guys had fun, man. That's great. Everyone's got to have that work day. That's fun.
Yeah.
So if you're working with Journeyman to do spirits, are you also then, are you getting, you guys got a pretty extensive barrel age program, right? Are you using Journeyman barrels, or does that go beyond that?
I haven't seen any, and I would imagine that they're pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Not that they wouldn't hook us up. Maybe they would if we asked. I don't even know if we've asked. I'm sure we have, but my guess is that going through our broker, going through our guy is going to be the most efficient. Most of our barrels, so we've got a temperature-controlled room. It's got to be about 12,000 square feet. It's one of the bigger rooms in the warehouse. It's year-round temperature control that has our cold room in it as well. But the other half is anywhere from, right now we're probably, we just got a new shipment, so we're probably at like 800-900 barrels of whatever it may be, bourbon, whiskey, rum, tequila. We've got a ton of wine barrels and such like that, port barrels. But yeah, the majority that I see, because I'm not in there plucking barrels, but I wander a lot and ask questions a lot. So Jack Daniels, surprisingly Heaven Hill. We've got a bunch of like anniversary ones randomly that'll pop in. We did a Jack Honey, a Jack 50th anniversary was part of Quad Hipster, I believe. We've had some Orange Tiger out of Toledo, and there's just a bunch. It's really impossible to keep up because it's really just, hey, I've got 600 bourbon barrels. It's not they're this, and this. We can definitely like hunt some down. Sure. And we've had some special ones, but for the most part, it's pretty standard.
So what's coming in your barrel age program? What's happening?
Yeah. So we just released, I don't know, like 9 barrel aged beers in the last 3 weeks. And I think we have another 9 in like 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
Is this the season that those normally come out, or is this like a regular thing?
Yeah, it is the season. We're getting into, my drinking habits have already changed into like, I'm like going from seltzer to IPA, almost, and then the end of the night, like a barrel aged stout, like knock me out, baby.
Yep, absolutely. I totally hear that.
If I open that can, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Barrel aged stouts coming down.
Yes, November. So we just released the Hazel's Nuts, as you guys have. Mm-hmm. We had 2 variants, raspberry and then a coconut marshmallow. People have been kind of raving about both in their own way. We did Bon Bon Della Morte, which is chocolate Dead Sea Salt Imperial Stout in a bourbon barrel, 14%. Actually, I got a can right here, but I just got stuff all over the place in my office. But you haven't got that one. That's a beauty. What else do we release? Triple barrel aged rye sweet potato souffle, gold medal winner at GABF.
I've had that.
With the addition of a couple barrels. And then Bluegrass Breakfast, which is basically Rye Hipster with pecans. Missing one in there, but that's okay. But yeah, November is looking to be an insane month. So we're doing the big Black Friday release, which I'm doing in quotes.
It's
Black
not
Friday.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't seen, I've been kind of commenting on our social media as Oddside. And actually, Brandon, the next thing I'm going to say is one of those. But yeah, the Rye Hipster usually released on Black Friday. It'll probably be all online in a couple weeks, or a few weeks, I'm sorry. And then it'll be just a kind of pick up as you go. But the next beer releasing with Rye Hipster in quantity would be the Ninth Man Leaveth from one of our favorite shows, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And that's actually...
Brandon said that, yep.
Yeah.
Brandon is on top of his shit.
Brandon's always been, he's a
yeah.
But,
while we're on it, Tigerbrew Deb says, hey, are you guys on the Tigerbrew Tale? You don't know? No?
We're really bad about...
Well, Wes, let me introduce you to Deb. I can give you her contact information. Deb, we'll set something up for you.
We just saw her on Friday randomly.
There we go.
Why are you not? Over 300 Michigan breweries are on the Tigerbrew Trail, Wes.
Yeah, we're just holding out. We're hoping for that big payout at the end, I guess. Oh man! But, what else do we got going? We've got 4 Rye Hipster variants, all brand new. We got Applewood smoked Rye Hipster, which is insanely unique. Like, you're probably going to hate it or love it. I love it, and I would
like a barbecue stout.
It is, but the Applewood is super unique. Like,
I'm
almost.
Yeah,
I'm gonna shove my hand in my mouth, but almost off flavors because of that apple. It's so weird, but you have to know what you're tasting, and it's freaking delicious. Like, I asked, we were tasting it out of the barrel, and I took like a half a glass.
It sounds unique
good.
enough. I will. I'm in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got chocolate Rye Hipster, which is just extra chocolate or chocolate in addition to. We've got cinnamon vanilla, which is going to actually the vanilla is going to replace maple syrup, so it's kind of like a super variant of Rye Hipster. So it's not super sweet. It kind of stays on par. And then let me think about this. What am I missing? Oh, mesquite smoked Rye Hipster, which is that nice deep smoke that you would kind of naturally got a Rye Hipster already, but it's just basically enhancing it.
And what is Rye Hipster just as a base beer?
So it's just an imperial stout with coffee, maple syrup, and bacon.
Okay. How do you guys do the bacon in that? Is it actual bacon?
I'm just gonna ask that. Yep.
Is it a trade secret?
It is flavoring. There was a time when they put real bacon in it, and that wasn't great.
I was gonna say that's pretty oily as well. So
I think like their very first batch, it might have been one barrel. They like put a bunch of bacon in there, and it just like went sour, and they dumped it. They're like, that was really dumb.
I'm not gonna call out the brewery, but I've had like a bacon beer with actual bacon in it one time.
I know who you're talking.
It actually triggered my gag reflex, and it's the only beer that has like made me like and basically just like.
That's not the Mangalista Porter, is it?
No. But yeah, that was flavoring. Yeah.
Yeah, as Brandon mentioned there, we've done something else with a meat of a sort, and rum ham. It's another It's Always Sunny beer.
Yeah.
But it was with ham hock flavoring, which is kind of weird to say, but it tastes like ham.
I think what's weirder is that there's somebody that produces ham hock flavoring.
Why do you need that?
But they found a buyer.
I mean, ham hocks are amazing, delicious. I grew up on Southern food. But yeah, you're right. There's no reason to have ham hock flavoring. I mean, really. But
I got 3 more for November. Don't cut me short.
No, keep it coming.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know we're already at like an hour.
No, we're fine.
You can go whenever, man. We're only on beer 3.
I was gonna say I still got 3 beers to drink.
I know. So we got bourbon barrel aged peanut butter cup style, which we've done before. Oh no, I already said the Nightman. And then oh no, there is 3 more actually. The peanut butter, even more OEO stout, which if you ever had OEO stout, you probably missed out. I apologize. It was a East Side account collaboration.
I was gonna say I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it was like in their barrels and exclusive to them. But either way, it's basically prairie double stuff, if you will. It's going to be the even more OEO. We did it kind of like an intro Oreo style, and this one's going to be like far too much Oreos and floaties in a good way.
Oh.
It'll be in a can, so you can't see it until you pour it out, though.
Oh, just be like the alchemist and write on the can, do not pour.
Drink right from the can. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. There you go.
Or floaties expected.
Yeah, that was only one. You got 2 more.
The King's Sandwich. Excuse me. So I think it's bacon, peanut butter, banana.
Oh.
Peanut butter banana sounds good. I'm in.
Yeah, and it's I want to say it's going to be like a 9% ale, just like an imperial ale, I guess you could call it. I haven't seen the designation on it. We just made the label, but it's like Elvis. It's like a silhouette of Elvis on it. It looks super sharp. I hope it turns out good. I mean, the flavor profile sounds like it's going to be amazing.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, he was famous for eating like what was peanut butter and jelly with bacon sandwiches.
I think that's what it is. Maybe I misspoke with banana. Peanut butter jelly. It's probably
it's peanut butter banana bacon. No, you got it right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't confuse me, Jordan.
I'm sorry.
God damn it! All right,
All right, that's all of them. I swear.
that's it.
I think.
What's coming out in December? I'm just fucking I'm just joking.
February is Deleterious and 3 to 4 more variants, which Deleterious, if you've never had it, is knockout. Probably, I would say one of the best non-adjunct stouts on the market.
What is it called?
People sometimes say Deleterious. It's Deleterious.
Deleterious. Okay.
I think I have a bottle.
I'm gonna
Grim Reaper on it.
I know. I'll probably recognize the label. For some reason, it's not striking a bell.
No, we didn't make very much of it. And then all the variants were in Bomber's Pub only last year. So it's like a Grim Reaper on the label.
Oh yeah. I've seen. Okay, yep, I see it. I tell people all the time, like I know a lot about beer, but I don't know a lot about beers. Sometimes,
Right.
like, people will like list me off these acronyms, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know what that is. But
so we do
that
this.
sounds
and
delicious.
I share some stupid shit, but there it is.
Hey.
The Deleterious Imperial Style aged in bourbon barrels. So you said 4 variations of it?
Yeah, well, it looks like you got a few in some of these other pictures.
Oh, do I?
So we've done coffee, double oaked, and vanilla before.
Okay.
Like you can kind of see some of that red lettering is some of those. I don't think we've snuck any of the previews though.
Vanilla coffee double oaked. That was last year.
Yep. Yeah, we haven't announced anything. I mean,
This day last year.
Is this no, yeah, it was. Is this going to be another ticketed event?
Probably, I mean, honestly, until COVID tames down, it's probably going to be the same as the Black Friday release. It's gonna probably be shifting to online until future. I mean, until whenever. I mean, we don't really know. Basically, until capacity limits are probably lifted is like the number one thing. Is like we don't want people lined up at our bar, and we were kind of doing, curbside pickup in the mix of all of that. So it's really about spacing it out for our employees so they're not overwhelmed, and making sure that the customer, the consumer inside the pub is not also overwhelmed with their spacing.
Is your tap room open right now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Most are. I figured I'd just ask.
Yeah. We had a freaking sweet summer as far as the setup goes. I mean, granted, sales were down, but we really salvaged what we could. The city gave us access to an entire block and one lane of the road. So that entire block was our like beer garden.
That's awesome.
So I'm thinking like, shoot, next year we might be able to roll that into actually being like letting it be open and make like expanding our capacity by maybe another 100 people by midsummer if everything tones down.
Oh, look at John calling me out for my browser tabs. I was actually thinking about throwing up like a porn tab on there.
I use Firefox for displaying shit because I'm not good at keeping track of.
No, I don't give a shit.
What am I opening? Should we do Hazel's Nuts just before the show's over, just in case?
Yeah, we're winding down. Why not? Wes, thanks for the hangover tomorrow.
So for those that haven't had it, Hazel's Nuts is a imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels with coffee and a hazelnut flavoring. So the label probably looks familiar to a lot of people.
Indeed.
It's beautiful hazel.
It is very beautiful. It's my daughter's name as well.
We have a friend with a daughter named Hazel. It's a beautiful name.
It's funny the cycle of names. I was trying to say cicality, but yeah, fuck that. But it's funny. I think I was just talking. That's Chris, right? No, one of our friends has
Hazel. That's
Hazel. Phil. I was talking to Phil about it, and he's like, "We're looking for the old school name." But then I think everybody else like has that idea, right? How old's your daughter?
I got 2 and 1 on the way, and they're all old school names.
All old school names, right?
Yeah, Hazel, Ava, and possibly Nora.
Oh, yeah, our buddy, guy Brian and I work with, daughter named Nora. But I think people do that. It goes in cycles, and you think like, oh, I'm going to go get an old school name, but then there's going to be a bunch of kids that your name. Nora.
Yeah, you just got to be the first to be the
oldest.
I named mine. My oldest is Ava, and she's 11 this year. Next month she's 11, and 11 years ago, no one was naming their kids Ava. And then 3 years after that, it was the #1 name. I'm like, what the hell?
I'm actually pretty sure that our buddy Eric's daughter Ava is probably 11.
Let's find out birthdays. I bet you heard it first.
It's all good.
I gotta say, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the year my parents decided to name me Jason, I went to school with like 6 other Jasons, so shit happens.
It'll happen.
I didn't go to school with like any Bryans, but then I started getting into like beer and stuff like that, and everybody is named Brian. And I don't know like what the deal is, but I know so many Bryans.
How did we get on names?
that's
See what happens
for going away. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. My wife really wanted to try some of the Hazel's nuts, so I ran upstairs to give her a pour.
Wow. You're a wonderful husband. I wouldn't dream of.
I have some of these from like previous years stuffed away downstairs, and I open them occasionally. And I gotta say, man, just like if you buy any of this, drink it right away. Like it's so good right now. It's not even comparable to like the stuff that I have set away. Like it's probably better fresh. Not that it's like
hey man,
it's so good.
The boys swear by. Listen, we put this in the can when we think it's best. Yeah. We're drinking it every week. We're trying barrels to find out when it is at its peak. So although hoarding is awesome and obviously a lot of beers do hold up, and it's fun. I mean, it is fun science. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I don't have a cellar anymore. COVID knocked that MFR out. I was like looking all drunk one night in my closet. I'm like, I'm gonna drink every one of these. For like 2 months straight on furlough, I was just chugging.
Well, you got to get through it somehow, right?
Yeah, you got to drink. I mean, you got to at least drink some fresh.
I want to give my wife some of these nuts too.
Oh
man,
thank you, Jason.
It smells so good. Yeah.
This year it's up to well, it's listed as 12, but I think last year was like 12.3. So we've got it up a little bit in percentage, and really, I mean, that's one of my favorite beers when I got hired at Oddside. So
yeah, no, it's really well balanced for having all that it's got going on. You know, the bourbon, coffee, hazelnut flavoring comes through. Yeah, no, it's good. I'm losing myself now. This is gonna be a good night. Sure.
Maybe comparable to
Not already.
See, my girlfriend comes to me.
Oh
wow!
Oh,
hey,
look at her.
Shayna.
Hey, Shayna.
She doesn't have to crawl in the towel.
Here's Ryan's girlfriend.
Yeah,
right.
Wes says hi and cheers. Yeah.
Half the time she's in and out of that. All right, so what's in the future for Oddside, Wes? What do you guys got going on? I mean, besides the amazing plethora of stouts coming in the next month, anything else exciting happening?
Really, it's just getting to the everything we've talked about, but amping it all up. We got this expansion working. Adding 15,000 barrels of capacity. We want to make sure we're still brewing 10,000 barrels of beer. We're going to give it a go while seltzers are what they are, and while we've got what we've got. We think we can sell 10,000 barrels of seltzer just in Michigan.
I'm sure.
So that's awesome. Yeah.
We think I should say sometimes I say we and I'm pushing to kind of scale things back, if not, keep what we have, but scale things in and see what we can do for a year. I'm really excited for 21 because we're set up for success. Now, all we have to do is implement our plans. We've got the distilling going. Our pub hopefully can get back rocking. And we've added a whole nother shift of packaging. I mean, we really are excited. We're going to keep putting out new beers. We're hoping for at least 1 to 2 new beers a month. Doesn't sound like a lot compared to before, but we're still going to push the envelope and keep looking for those trends, man. we've hit really early on some, and some of them we hit too early and have never circled back. So, we're just trying to find that right place, right time, and really be lucrative in what we're making. You're going to see a lot more traditional beers put out this year too. I'm pretty excited about things that don't have fruit in them. Like Das Pills and Citra Kolsch are two that I'm
cool.
excited.
Yeah. Do you guys have a good Mexican lager? Do you have a Mexican lager?
We actually were talking about this today. Oh my God! So we have Beer Me Lime, which really isn't a Mexican lager.
Yeah,
it's just beer me with key limes in it, which is American lager. But we have a beer called Lager Finds a Way. All of a sudden, I swear to God, Google was listening or something. But all of a sudden, my owner is on a glass. He's just in Google Images, and it's a glass of Jeff Goldblum with his shirt open.
Oh, that's glorious!
And we're like, this is our new glass. So, we hadn't talked about that beer in a minute, and then we brought it up, and we're like, well, that was pretty good actually. So that happens so often where the things just like go to the wayside, and you're like, oh yeah, I guess that was good. You like take it for granted. You make so many.
I was say you guys make so much. I guess to bring one of the questions in from other. Is there a date for the distillery, or no? Speaking of trends, canned cocktails coming in.
Yeah, it's definitely been discussed, but we got to figure out our storage capacity, what we're allowed to store, and I think if I'm understanding it correctly, we'd have to have a whole nother canning line to support that. So it's probably, I don't expect it to be something we're going to undertake next year, but I bet if we have a good year next year, which I mean, it's not really an if, it's just assuming shit doesn't go wrong kind of thing, or anything worse than COVID, I guess. We've made it through that.
Right.
If it's not worse than COVID, then we'll probably be moving forward towards that kind of near the end of the year. Usually barrel age release season is kind of where we stockpile that, we take that big lump sum that we've made and we put it right back into the business with something. What's our big purchase? Is it a centrifuge, a pasteurizer, more fermenters? Is it a new canning line? Is it, 500,000 cases of cans? I mean, whatever it is that's when we make those decisions. So,
that's awesome.
Maybe we'll know some more next October's area or time frame.
We'll have to circle back. Yeah. I mean, you guys got so much shit going on. I know we can touch base again next year and talk about all the new shit.
Great question, John. Miss you, bud.
Yeah, I miss John. So yeah, man. Anything else you want to add? Anything else for Oddside?
I don't know, man. We talked about a lot of stuff.
We have, and I've got quite the buzz going on. Thank you, Wes. I really appreciate it.
When we were talking about seltzers, I do have one more thing. All right, were you ever a Jones soda drinker?
I mean, I've definitely had my fair share.
Okay, all right.
I was ever like a fanboy or anything.
Well, I'm going to pitch an idea to you. Around this time, a long time ago, Jones, and I don't know if they do it anymore, but they would put out Thanksgiving sodas. So they would have they would have like turkey dinner and like.
Oh,
so are my owner.
Turkey dinner flavoring.
He literally just brought this up like 2 weeks ago, and we looked at him dead square in the eye, like, no. Not going down that road.
Maybe the same
company. We should actually take Brian out now.
Stuffing and gravy.
All right. Yeah.
No, he was being legit. Like he'll float something past us and he'll act like he's not kidding, but we know where he's going. He's like getting bored, he's probably like, we're only at like 24 flavors. We probably need like another 10 in like 4 months,
Sausage gravy hard seltzer, man.
No, I could see it. I could feel like a cranberry shot seltzer working. Like that might work. But no.
I could see something. I don't know if the turkey gravy one would work, but I guess if and that's what he said. What if you just market it like that? Like, hey, Like, we're not telling you it's the best seltzer ever. We did put turkey.
You know,
in it.
most of those sales of the Jones Soda Turkey Dinner did not go to people that were like, "Oh yeah, I want a turkey fucking soda." No, they went to people that were just like, "Can you believe this shit?" I mean, we did it. Yeah, and it was at a party, and we opened it. It was disgusting, and yeah. So you don't have to be good if you're just trying to
it'll make the sale.
Right.
Market.
I can tell you this though. One of my, I'm not sure if I'm ready to announce it. Maybe I can. I don't know.
Here first, Michigan Brews exclusive. Come on.
We need a flashing thing at the bottom.
So we are coming out with one in sooner than later. I don't know if I can say it.
Don't get in trouble on our behalf.
A couple months out, so I don't want to get crazy. Let's just say it's going to be one of my top 3. The second that our production manager drank it, he said instantly in my top 3, and it's like total nostalgia, kind of flavor as a kid. So
follow the Oddside Facebook page.
Is it like the Christmassy themed?
Oh,
No, nothing crazy. It's a pretty straightforward flavor, but
okay.
Is it seltzer or?
It's really good. Is it what?
Okay.
Is it a seltzer?
Yeah, it's a seltzer. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You know, we've got a bunch of other flavors coming out too. I'll tell you about champagne.
Champagne? Yeah.
Coming out. That's gonna be like a New Year's kind of one. It just tastes like shitty Asti in like the best way possible.
Amazing sales.
I drank it. I'm like, dang, this is really good. And they're like, I mean, it tastes like crappy champagne. I'm like, exactly. No one's buying expensive champagne. You just shake it up and spray it.
Crack it. And it's fine because it's a couple bucks a can, right? Who cares?
Yep.
I'm allowed to have like this much on New Year's, or else I get like blackout drunk. Like
he blacked out after the seltzer episode.
It's the bubbles, man. Wes, I don't know, man. Do you have like a bubble thing? Like I can't handle bubbles. I think I don't know what the deal is.
You overcarbonate your beers. Well, not overcarbonate. You just like more carbonation.
I do like the bubbles, and then I can't handle them. So
it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that reminds me of when I brought my fiance to it was a festival in Royal Oak. It's called All Fizzed Up. It was an all seltzer fest.
Ooh.
And like,
oh, that's fun.
That sounds like a hangover.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was this year sometime. Anyway, earlier this year, I think. And she got lit. And what she didn't realize is that it wasn't only seltzers, it was craft cocktails too. So she'd be like, oh, that margarita one was so good. And I'm like, yeah, that fucker is like 12%.
That's a margarita.
Yeah, she was a margarita hammered like, on accident. And we went to Hopcat and I ordered like 4 crates of freaking crack fries. I mean, cosmic fries.
Yeah, cosmic fries.
And yeah, that was the night. I was fine, and she was just like, "I'm never drinking seltzers again." I'm like, "It wasn't those, I swear."
That was last week with me and Meads. All right. So speaking of next weekend, next week we will have a style show, and then we've got some guests that we're working on for next month. But nothing to announce now, so follow us on the Facebook page and keep up with us there. Wes, thank you again for hanging out with us tonight. Really appreciate it. Appreciate all the beer. I'm going to finish this Hazel's Nuts and pass the fuck out.
Thanks, guys. It was a pleasure being here, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we'll bring a brewer on the show, and you guys can hammer him about some real shit.
Dude, awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Have a good night, guys.
Ooh. Mics aren't muted yet, are they?